I think tonight we all saw Jake Paul clearly didn't know how hard boxing was. He took one good right hand in the ear, stumbled back, went through the ropes, and he's thought, oh God, it's a bit of an hard game this, isn't it? I'll stick to the YouTubing business. I think that's what you've seen tonight. You know, he took one good shot in a boxing ring and he crumbled. And if Tyrone would have pressed on a little bit more through them rounds, Jake Paul would have been out of there. Now, this is probably why you won't see me and him next, because if he did that with me in there, I'd have swarmed all over him, hands up round me ear, straight to him, take everything that he's got on the arms and gloves, and I'd wear him down and smash him to pieces. But that's why you won't see me and Jake Paul. Not through me, through him.
What's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. So we just heard there from your man's Tommy, aka Cookie Fury. Now, no word of a lie, yeah? I thought Tyson Fury was bad, but this dude here gets me seriously angry, you know. I want some of Tommy. I'll have a piece of Tommy. Who's serving up? Any of you dons in the comments know anything about Tommy? Let me know. I'll have a piece of him. He smells sweet to me. Yeah? I've seen you in there for 135er who can't box a lick, and you was going 50-50 with him. No doubt. But anyway, let's get to this video before the YB gets any harder for Tommy Fury. Listen, Tommy, and what frustrates me the most about this situation is, yeah, Tommy Fury was in the USA saying these comments. How pathetic. Fair enough in the UK with all the paid off MTK, Fury fangirl media. Yeah, IFL TV, Shill FL TV, Shillel Joy Phelps. Yeah, Shillel Joy Phelps. Shill FL TV. What else you got? Listen. Shillerone. Yeah? You got Tyrone, Shillerone, FLTV. All these goofies, no doubt. 100%. But in the USA, I expected some more journalistic integrity. Instead, they all watched, yeah? We all watched it. No word of a lie. Anyone who knows boxing knows Tommy Fury stunk the place out. I'm talking a stinky one. Yeah? All of my 420 dons wish their bits was as stinky as your man's Tommy Fury's performances. Trust me, 100%. 420 dons are ringing Tommy Fury's line down, trying to get something as stinky as his performance was. Super duper stinky was his performance. 100% confirmed. The stinkiest. We all watched it. Them dudes who was at the press conference hearing what he was saying watched it. But then, an hour later, he's doing the press conference talking about what he would have done. Oh well, Jake Paul, he wouldn't do it with me. I'd be in there. Oh, gloves by my ears and I'd walk him down and knock him out. I'd get my... If I caught Jake Paul like Tyrone did, he'd have no chance. I'll be straight over there with my gloves up and I'll be working away and finish him. We know for a fact Jake Paul is better than the dude he was fighting. Jake Paul's bigger. That's Jake Paul's sparring partner. That's Jake Paul's food. You were supposed to get him out of the ring. They served you, that 135-pound dude, for you to get him out of there, to build some press for the fight. Wow. You got served a 135er. Genuinely, yeah, it was barely legal. Seriously, barely legal. Only because it was a Jake Paul show, the fight was even allowed. It's a bit of a circus, obviously. No word of a lie. It was only because it's a circus show was Tommy Fury a 180-pound man. In fact, they fought at cruiserweight because Tommy Fury is that undisciplined, that out of shape. They had to fight at cruiserweight. A 135er was dragged up to cruiserweight. That's how desperate they were to give Tommy Fury a KO. Wow. And he goes 50-50 with him. It was a close fight, genuinely, because they both sucked. If, no word of a lie, if Anthony Taylor had anything, Tommy Fury would have been moshed in there. Just like Tom Saunders got. Good moshing. But anyway, back to this. Like I was saying, the US media literally made me sick. I can't remember the last time I had such a visceral reaction to a whole situation. For 10 minutes, Tommy Fury ranted and raved about what he would have done. Oh, I saw Jake Paul in the corridor. I was going to do this. Me and my team. Trust me. Wait for tomorrow's video. Yeah, me and my team are going to do this. Me and my team love to throw down. Me and my team are on site. Me and my team, we got no problem going 10-1. We get stuck straight in. Where was all this then? When Anthony Taylor, a man who can't box a lick, who is literally 60 pounds lighter than you, was standing right in front of you, begging to get KO'd. Where was all this smoke? Where was all this I'm a fighting man? Where was it all, Tommy? I mean, Cucky. Cucky Fury. Where was it all? Where was all this attitude? It's no good after the fight when you shaved your eyebrows and put your makeup on. It's no good finding energy then. You paid to have energy in the ring, but to be fair, this is why I put a tweet out earlier, going all the way in on boxing. Do you know how much Tommy Fury got paid? Tommy Fury got paid 750 grand for that fight. 750 grand for a 4-round fight against a 135-pound man. That takes most people 20 years to make. The best part of 20 years that's going to take you. I mean, even if you're earning good money, it can take you 10 years. Wow. 10 years for a 4-rounder where he stunk the place out. 750 grand made me just sick. And I said in that post, I can't wait for boxing to go into a recession. Because you boxers are getting paid. That Tommy, genuinely, yeah. I thought he may have got 150 grand for that fight. And even that, to be honest, for that fight, he should have probably got 50 grand to fly over to the U. I mean, even that, when you think about that, that's a year's pay. That's a good year's pay. 50 grand for 4 rounds, for 12 minutes work. And it was work at that. Nah, boxing needs a good recession. You man are too gassed. No wonder we don't get no fights. No wonder Jake Paul's the guy who's dominating boxing at the moment. Because we've got people like Tommy Fury going in there, going 50-50 with someone. Gets paid $1 million, the best part of. And he's talking about, in the press conference, ranting on about what he was going to do and how Jake Paul couldn't deal with him. Where was all this? And again, you can blame Tommy Fury, but how the world used to work is people were able or are able to say what they want, but where journalism is supposed to come into the fold, journalists are supposed to check individuals against the facts. Tommy, I was begging, seriously, I said it earlier, but I'm genuinely I'm not lying to you. I had a visceral reaction. I wanted to hurt something when I heard what he was saying, and I heard that everyone was just sitting there, lapping it up, loving it, laughing. Loving his response. Oh yeah, I'd have gone straight in there with Jake Paul, and I'd have done this, I'd have done that, I'd have put my earmuffs on, I'd have walked him down. When have you seen Tommy Fury genuinely walk anyone down? His last 2 fights, the only 2 I've watched here, he didn't walk no one down. That dude who was on 2 days' notice whacked his head in. No word of a lie. That dude, the one before this fight, the dude who was he was on his debut, yeah, the man on his debut who had 2 days' notice came in and whacked Tommy Fury upside his head, made him look stupid. And guess what? It went the distance. Tommy Fury wasn't walking no one down in that fight. And guess what? Even when served a man on a 3-week platter, let's get it straight here. Anthony Taylor wasn't given 2 months. He was only given 4 weeks himself. A man who's never won a fight in boxing was given 4 weeks notice and was 50 pounds lighter. And Tommy Fury went in there and went 50-50 with him. It was laughable. It made me laugh. The commentators were talking like, oh, well, you know, it's dominating win by Tommy Fury. What, dominating win? You're having a laugh. Tommy won because the other guy was literally 50 pounds lighter and didn't know even a little bit about boxing. But again, that's what it is. But to then hear the media after the fight, and again, it won't even be so bad if Tommy Fury had come out and said, you know what, my performance sucked and I need to seriously look at myself. I've got serious problems if I'm going life and death with a dude who's never boxed, with a dude who weighs 50 pounds less than me. And the worst thing is, you know, Tommy Fury even flipped it around and said, oh, well, you know, the reason I was struggling was because he was so small. Wow! He was flipping the fact that most people beg to get. Let's get something straight here. For years, MMA fighters and boxers have done what? They've drained their weight so they can get into a lighter weight division to therefore make the competition easier. People are begging. People are dehydrating themselves, yeah, so they can fight smaller opponents. But Tommy Fury wants us to believe that, oh well, you can't blame me for sucking, but I had a tough fight because he was so small. What? That's supposed to get you rock hard. If you get the privilege of fighting someone half your size, it's your duty to go in there and ice them. I mean, look at Alvarez versus Amir Khan. That was a weight mismatch, in my opinion. Guess what? Alvarez did his job. Went in there and smoked the dude. He smoked the dude's boots for him. Amir Khan's boots are still smoking somewhere. Yeah? That's what you're supposed to do. And that weight difference wasn't as egregious as Tommy Fury versus some next dude. And he's sitting here talking about what he was. Oh, they've gone in there, put my earmuffs on and walked him down. So where was the earmuffs in your last opponent? The one who knocked your head about. Where was the walking down, Tommy? Since you were so able to do it, where was it? Oops, there weren't none. And better yet, your most recent fight, this one, Anthony Taylor. Since you're so able to walk down, or so you say you're so able to walk down Jake Paul at a moment's notice, why didn't you walk down the man who's... I'm not being funny here. Jake Paul, we know for a fact, is about the same size as Tommy Fury. So if Tommy can just walk down Jake Paul at will, surely walking down a man who's never boxed, who is half your size, that should be light work. Yeah, it's just a fact. If you can walk down someone your own size, walking down someone who ain't throwing punches, who can't box, and he's half your size, you should be doing that all day and night. Oops, you didn't. Why? Because you ain't walking no one down. You ain't got the power for it, you ain't got the chin for it, and you ain't got the balls for it. That's why you're still doing 4-rounders against 135ers. Meanwhile, Jake Paul, who has half the number of fights as you, no amateur experience, is doing 8-round fights against top opposition. Meanwhile, you are fighting God knows what and going life and death whilst doing it. It's bad. And no, Jake Paul shouldn't give you the fight. You ain't done naffle to deserve it. You have to earn that kind of pay down. I mean, not being funny, the fact he gave you 750 grand, you should be laughing with that. You've robbed the bank with that, truth be known. I wouldn't have paid you 50 for that fight. Shocking. 750 grand for that. There's no respect to people who are actually working for their money. I'm sorry, it's distasteful. It's sickening to hear that. 750 grand for that. There's just no pride in boxing no more. If I was getting paid 750, I swear down yet. For example, let's say me and Tyrone or someone had a charity, or not a charity one, but let's say we did a boxing match, yeah, and my purse was 750 grand. You best believe I'll be thinking, you know what, man? If this fight starts to suck at any point, I'm just gonna have to bite down because for the amount of money I'm getting paid, that's, you know what I mean? That's big money. I owe it to the pit, and that's what all the great trainers have always said. The fans come first. These days, oh well, I'm going to fight a midget and I'm going to get paid a whole heap of money and then I'm going to run around. And then, after the fight, to add insult to injury, I'm going to talk about all the things I'll do in a fight. Do you not see how mad that is? It's a massive kick in the face to any rational fan. Before the fight he talks, he gets the fight and sucks. After the fight, he's back to talking rubbish again. Like we were all blind and didn't see what happened an hour ago. An hour ago, you had your opportunity to show all this stuff. You showed none of it. And I got goofy people in the comments sucking him off about, oh, how can anyone hate this lad? He's so honest. What? Was he honest when he was telling you all the things he was going to do? How he was going to knock this guy out in a round? Because he's too small. And he ends up going 50-50. Get serious. I'm sick of the whole lot of it, to be honest. Fully sick. Oh yeah. And to add insult to injury, I've just checked my notes again, and this wasn't the end of it. He also says that he also starts trying to clown Jake Paul about being hit. Oh, Jake Paul got hit once. He didn't like it. Rah, 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 rah. Tommy, you've never been in there with anyone who can hit you whatsoever. That's why you're fighting people half your size for 4 rounds. And you were still blowing out your backside. When have you taken a cracking shot and bounced back? Oops, you haven't. For all your fightingness, never once have you been in there with someone who can actually hit you back. Yeah? So it's all well and good sitting there and laughing, but you ain't showed no minerals. In fact, all you've shown is that you're able to choke time and time again. You stay choking. I've never seen someone choke so much, to be fair. You're in the runnings with Logan Paul. And yeah, no one can choke as much as Tommy Fury. Every time you flop. Every time you got excuses. Oh, well, it's a bad performance. That was cool the first 6 times. It's getting kind of played out now, hearing about your bad performance. Hearing about how you've only had 50 amateur fights. Jake Paul's had none, but you find, innit? Jake, wait a minute. Tommy Fury loves to remind us how he's only had 20, 30 amateur fights. But Jake Paul's had none. And yet, you're happy to get off or you're happy to try and criticise him. Oops. He's had none, and he's fighting better opposition than anyone on your resume. Tyron Woodley would smoke everyone on Tommy Fury's resume. And for me right now, yeah, that's what needs to happen next, truth be known. Tommy Fury versus Tyron Woodley. The winner gets Jake Paul. Bottom line. Let's see how, you know what I mean? It's all well and good. Tommy Fury one in this, one in that. Let's see if he wants that fight, because he seems to know so much about Tyron Woodley. He seems to think how easy it is. Let's see how willing Tommy Fury is to fight Tyron Woodley. Because we can all... Who doesn't want a $10 million payday from Jake Paul? I'd take that and roll over, like Tommy Fury will. But let's see if you really want it. Let's go and walk in Jake Paul's shoes, Goofy. And I hope that Team Jake Paul have some people with brains in their head. That's what I'll be saying right now. Tommy, you flopped against my sparring partner. Didn't bring no attention to it. Therefore, if you want this fight, you'll get in there with Tyron Woodley. So we can both see a comparison of how good you are. Because we don't know at this point. Since you just went life and death with a man half your size. Get in there with Woodley, and then we can talk about it. How about that? Your man's Tommy Fury will go missing. You best believe that as well. All the way missing will he go. I bet he took one punch from Tyron Woodley. Tommy, that punch would literally have left you unconscious. Because much less has left your pops unconscious. When the Black Skellington fell back and caressed your pops' chin, he went spark out. So don't give me that. You're laughing. The thing is, Tommy Fury's laughing, yeah, about shots which left his dad unconscious. So what is this? You should be taking... I don't know why... It's not a laugh. Tommy, from your point of view, yeah, those kind of shots are not a laughing matter. Because to you and your family, that's the difference between here and not here, yeah? That's the difference between here and Meme Land. No doubt.